And we are live. Good Saturday evening, folks. Welcome to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Yes, indeed, folks. We are here cranking it out. I had a lot of podcasts that I wanted to upload to YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Hope that you're all doing well this evening on this great Saturday evening. It is kind of thunderstorms, a little bad weather where I am here in the state of Georgia, the Peach State. But nevertheless, I wanted to come on and continue my talks moving forward. It's all about how to save money, how to prepare with the tariffs that are now in place. And every average American will be affected, in fact, be affected by the tariffs on everyday items that we normally would buy. I want to discuss this evening several things, but my focus, the core focus, is going to be on getting your basic back to school supplies, school clothes, school shoes, articles of clothing that you would normally buy during the summer months going into the fall for maybe work related or school or even college, or students that are graduating high school going on off to college. Start purchasing the supplies that they're going to need now to stay in the student housing or dorms or apartments and what have you. Even at home, they're going to need certain things moving forward. And while supplies are still rather plentiful, such as articles of clothing and shoes and what have you, before all of the price hikes take effect, it would behoove you, if you have growing teenagers and what have you, you may want to upsize the articles of clothing, or upsize maybe by a half size or a whole shoe size for the end of summer when school actually gets back in session after this school year closes out for the fall. Then I would suggest that you start purchasing these items now while you still can, at prices that are relatively low enough to still fit in your budget. Excuse me. I want to discuss basically how the Trump tariffs will hit clothes, everyday items, shoes, and school supplies, as well as food and even summer supplies like swimsuits and other things that we normally would buy around Memorial Day, or coming up to Memorial Day, which signifies or signals the beginning of summer. Tariffs on apparel, which is clothing and what have you, including back to school clothes, are likely to lead to higher prices for families. And that's kind of a likely, they will lead to higher prices. It's just that simple. A lot of the American industry groups, professional groups that have experts in the economy field and financial field, warn that the tariffs, particularly those on leading exporters, could significantly increase the cost of items like sneakers, blue jeans or jeans, t-shirts, backpacks, paper, pens, notebooks, other supplies that you would need, such as maybe laptops, tablets, a lot of things we take for granted, but these prices will definitely increase moving forward. There's a lot of imported goods, folks, that are used in the production of apparel or in the production of clothing articles that we get from other countries besides the United States of America. There are lots of things that are still being manufactured here. However, we also have hanging in Walmarts and J.C. Penney's and Urban Outfitters and Banana Republic, um, Targets, um, a lot of the other stores that I'm really not naming, J. Crew, Gap, and these stores. Some of those articles of clothing, or the majority of those articles of clothing, are coming from China, Cambodia, India, Pakistan, Mexico, Indonesia, many other countries. The increased production costs to manufacture those goods, such as the fabrics that's used, the zippers, the buttons, um, the dyes that are put into those clothes to give us those beautiful pastel colors in the early springtime going into the summer. All of those things factor in on the price as they are imported into other countries or exported out. The retailers themselves, in order to maintain profitability or for their bottom line, they're definitely likely to pass the increased production costs and the increased cost of goods onto us, the consumer, in the form of higher prices. And especially the next few months, because we'll have summer beginning, and then the next big thing will be back to school, whether it be back to school for first time schoolers or preschoolers, kindergartners, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and on into college, or even college graduates that are going on for advanced degrees in the fall of 2025. Things are going to be more expensive, and my public service announcement to you from Saving Money Unapologetically would be: get your basic back to school supplies and school clothes while you still can, and that time is now. I'm not saying run out and panic buy. I'm not saying that uh, that you shouldn't take an inventory of the articles of clothing that you already have. Find out what still fits. Find out outfits that you haven't worn in a long time. Maybe things still hanging in your closet or closets that may still have the tags on. See what you can match up and put together to form new outfits. Some things we've probably gotten pushed back further in the closet, and we don't even remember that we have those items that we can possibly still use. Make sure you take that inventory and purchase around, center that around other things that you can go along with as far as being able to match up and make multiple outfits just by buying a few new pieces and adding to what you have to make various outfits, whether that be for male or female or gender neutral or gender fluid or whatever you want to call yourself. It's all right with me. Matters none to me, actually. There will be a lot of specific items that will become more expensive as time goes on, and when you're out there shopping for your back to school um, items. And again, those items will include shoes, sneakers, boots, jeans, t-shirts, belts, handbags, purses, wallets, um, accessories that are made, in other countries and what have you. Parents that are expecting newborns, parents that are expecting children to be born soon, purchase items that you can now, such as car seats, strollers, baby carriers, perhaps diaper bags, diaper backpacks for dad, um, whatever you can purchase without straining your budget now. Start purchasing. You um, may perhaps give birth sometime, in the summertime, late summer or early fall, or you may actually be giving birth in December and you say, oh, it's a little too early to start buying. It's never too early to start buying. Purchase your diapers, purchase whatever it is that you think you may need um, while there's still some sales and while products are readily still available, start to purchase, start to think ahead. There will be higher prices. Um, I did some research prior to actually coming on tonight, and I wanted to let you know that there are some sources that are available, and I asked for certain ideas, and I was kind of pulling out and trying to put some things together. Several of the things that you possibly can see on the screen is look for local suppliers. Local suppliers. A lot of times you'll have people that are actually making garments, making apparel. You have tailors that are still local to most cities and towns. You'll have at least one or two. You'll have boutiques where you may have someone that actually does tailoring or actually sews there, who can make a few things. You have that person, if you have lost weight, they may be able to actually tailor some of your better articles of clothing that you don't really want to get rid of, that you know that is quality pieces that you could have altered. That's another way that you can perhaps save a few dollars. Um, Farm stands, craftspeople that are making jewelry or making other things that you could use to accessorize with, farmers markets, local distributors, local farmers, local growers, local cattle people that have cattle that sell perhaps maybe bacon, or they sell their chickens, or they sell eggs and things. Look for some local things to where you may not purchase um, going forward certain things from your large retailers like Kroger's or like Walmart's or Sam's Club or Costco's and BJ's, and some of your other smaller retailers might have a few better prices. Try Trader Joe's, try Aldi's, try H Mart. Those are Asian markets, but they have a lot of inventory in those places. And I don't know that if their prices, I'm sure, will perhaps probably rise, but I don't know that their costs will be as costly as some of the other retailers out here. So those are some, just some helpful tips and hints that you possibly can use, or resources that you may not have thought of, but is definitely perhaps available in your town or city or state, wherever you may reside or wherever you frequent the most. Get familiar with your local secondhand stores. A lot of times, we want to dress a certain way, or we have a certain look that we're trying to achieve. Sometimes your Goodwills, your Salvation Armies, your individually owned and operated thrift stores or secondhand stores or boutiques may have some of those articles of clothing and or accessories that you're looking for. And what better way to take advantage of that instead of buying it brand new and paying, you know, upwards of 3 or 4 times the price that it cost perhaps last year? You may be able to find it um, a lot cheaper at one of those outlets or one of those particular small businesses than you would from a national retail chain. Revisit your budget and see how much you can put aside for the future in case of unexpected expenses. Definitely, we want to be revisiting our budget at least every 60 to 90 days to make sure that we're on track, making sure that we're not necessarily going over budget, or maybe we're staying under budget a little bit and moving those monies towards something else, and maybe paying off a credit card or working towards paying off student loans. Remember that student loan debt, the grace period, they have taken away those safety nets and different things. They're going to start garnishing people's wages. That's a particular percentage. I think it's 25 or 30% after uh, taxes and all of the other things that come out of your paycheck when you get paid normally. So on top of that, that's a big chunk. So please be careful. Ask for grace if they, extend it to you. If not, then definitely make a budget for yourself. Try to sell off some things that you no longer need or use or haven't used in years or haven't worn in years to get the extra money coming in, and start paying down what you can while you still can. If you have impending large purchases to make, like a new car or a large appliance, consider making those purchases as soon as possible. Definitely. The longer you wait, the higher some items will become. Some items will become scarcer than others. So definitely you want to make a list. You kind of want to check prices. You kind of want to start seeing who has what. Maybe there's some upcoming Memorial Day sales. There's some other things for graduation, Father's Day. A lot of times, Mother's Day, you'll be surprised. Some of the retailers who may not have as much foot traffic as they have had in the last 90 days may go ahead and put a sale. So keep your eyes on the internet, Google, spider out for some of the retailers that you're interested in purchasing these big ticket items from. Make sure you're on their email list or their text phone number list or whatever you can, in order to see and have alerts when those sales take place or when they have some discounted items. You definitely want to maybe set some Google alerts for certain retailers also, to make sure that you're not missing out on these price decreases when they are, because they're going to, moving forward, be fewer and far between. And the last thing that we want to talk about is, most importantly, remember your community. Mutual aid, buy nothing groups, parent groups are wonderful resources to to turn to instead of buying something new. So mutual aid, a lot of times there are food pantries. If you're low on something and you know you're in need, it's better to go to your church's food pantries, or a food pantry in your community. A lot of times the library has, things going on. A lot of times you can get on Facebook and find out if there's something in your geographical area that may be available to you that you can, benefit from, such as food. Some of the pantries, if you're having problem purchasing pet food, if that, of course, it has increased extra a lot in the last, year or so. Extremely um, extreme prices on pet food has really risen quite high in the last year or so. So, if you have animals that you care about and you're continuing to purchase these items and you need help purchasing, a lot of times the food pantries will have pet food for your pets. It may be cat food this month. Next week when you go, or every 2 weeks, or however you're allowed to go to these places, they may have something that you can use. You want to explore all opportunities and all resources. Now is not the time, folks. Moving forward in the next few years, we cannot just, let our pride get in the way. You know, be respectful, be mindful of others. Um, you know, show good stewardship, help others when and where you can. And definitely don't be shy about asking for help when you need it at your community centers or at your outreach centers, calling 411, going over perhaps maybe to the nearest Salvation Army if you need, if you just moved and you're down, on your finances because you had a lot of deposits you had to make and what have you. And, your pay just isn't, matching up, but you're able to pay the bills, but there's absolutely nothing left. If you need furniture, a lot of times I know that the Salvation Army, Goodwill, a lot of times, furniture banks in certain areas of the country will provide a voucher to get secondhand furniture. Sometimes it may be new furniture. I'm not sure, but um, a lot of times that's available to people who need certain things. If you have a young infant and you don't have maybe a crib or a baby car seat or something that you need, a lot of times these particular entities will help provide you with that, in addition to other resources that may be available. But if you don't ask or if you don't seek it out, then it may not come your way, because these places don't know that you're out here in the community and are in need unless you say so, or unless some good Samaritan or good citizen or good steward turns your name in to that particular place that can provide you with some of the resources that you so need. So, all I'm saying to you moving forward, folks, is to sometimes we have to kind of move our pride over a little bit and be able to get what it is that we need by asking for it. The squeaky wheel always gets the oil, and that's the person who goes and asks or speaks up for themselves, and or someone who may not be able to speak up for themselves. Moving right along swiftly and professionally, folks. um Now is the time to stock up on school supplies, notebooks, ink pens, pencils, notepads, just some generic things to have on hand, because by the time August rolls around or late July, when schools are getting ready to go back in for after summer, you'll be surprised, folks, at the prices of these supplies. Make sure, I know that a lot of schools, high schools, elementaries, and middle schools definitely want certain things, but you can buy some generic items now, such as glue sticks, such as maybe colored pencils, such as number 2 pencils, red, blue, and black ink pens, maybe some highlighters for your middle school and high school and college students. Those are some generic things that pretty much works across the board. Um, Scissors, notebook paper. If it's elementary school, they may need a little pack of construction paper, or they may need Kleenex. When Kleenex is on sale at perhaps Publix or at Rite Aid or Walgreens or CVS, pick up an extra box and tuck it away, because you know you have an elementary school student, and every year when they come out with the supply list, or when you go to the schools to pick them up, do an open house or what have you, they always have that on there. And that's one item or 2 or 3 items that you will not have to purchase in order to send over to the school, because you already have it. Purchase what you can while you can now. Stock up. That's including foods, if you can, non-perishables, or things that have long shelf life, and put into your pantry. Take $5 every other week, or every week when you get paid, if you can spare that. That's not a lot of money, but it will certainly buy a few things that you can put away, tuck away for school time when it's back to school. Don't let the kiddies hide it from them. Don't let the kiddies scratch it up or play with it or cut it up or use it over the summer. You want to put it behind the sofa, under the sofa, somewhere where they're not going to look. If you have really small kids and they're into everything, you know, put it up in a closet, put it up under your bed, in a dresser drawer with clothes on top, a nice supply of school supplies. So when it is time and your budget is limited, you will still be able to provide for your grandchildren or your children or what have you, with some of the items that you have purchased earlier on, when the prices were lower than they will be in July and August and into September. Just another look at some school supplies. A lot of times you'll find calculators on sale. Sometimes look in some of the odd places, like at Kroger's. Look over there at Aldi's. You never know what you're going to find at Aldi's. Um, Look at the Dollar General. Look inside of the Rite Aids, the CVS, the Walgreens. You'll be surprised some of the items that they stock. Trader Joe's may not find school supplies, but they may be selling maybe something that you can use. They may be selling Kleenex or something. All these may be selling box tissue. You'll be surprised what you can kind of grab and hold back for that rainy day, or when the new school session is in progress, you will be able to pull from what you have and look at those items and then make your lists of the new items that you need to add in order to complete your school list for the upcoming school year. Clothing, folks. Clothing, a lot of our clothes, like I said before, comes from overseas. Buy now what you can. If you have to buy another whole size or a size or two sizes, purchase what you can, but not in excess. If you have a child that wears a uniform traditionally, then purchase an extra pair of pants now. And especially if that child is on the thin side and doesn't really, if they have a growth spurt, then definitely purchase, if they're in a size 28, they may go to a size 30, but that size 30, or they may go to a 28 and a half over the summer and not really a size 30 in the waist, but they can still wear a belt and be okay with it. You'll be surprised the amount of money that you can save by doing that. Also, you can purchase short sleeve clothes even to go into the fall or into the winter of the year, the winter time, for the school year, because you can layer clothing. It's okay to have a long sleeve shirt coming out from underneath a short sleeve shirt. That's considered layering. A lot of times, the students these days and kids, teenagers alike, even adults, like to wear hoodies, and they'll have a short sleeve shirt on with their hoodie. So they still have some warmth if it's too cool to them inside of their classrooms and what have you. They still have an article of clothing that they could carry around, maybe in their backpack or in their hand, throw it over their shoulder or whatever. If you know that you're planning a vacation, or if you've already paid for summer vacation, a lot of times you may be able to tweak that summer vacation and not stay quite as long, especially if you haven't placed deposits on some of these trips that you're planning to take. Then you may cut the trip back a little bit to save a few dollars to put towards the rest of the school supplies and school clothes, or the necessary items that you may need going forward. You have to be smart about it, folks. Give give this some thought, and you will definitely come up with some ideas all on your own. Enlist the help of others. Get on Facebook, ask around. A lot of people sometimes are giving away free clothes because their kids outgrew the clothes and they bought too many clothes, and the tags are still on the clothes, but the kids can no longer fit those clothes. A lot of times they're just going to give it away. They'll say free clothes. There's a bag sitting outside of the door. First person to pick it up, you can have it, or whatever. You'll be surprised what you can find. Backpacks are going to be another accessory, another item for back to school that's going to increase in price. Sneakers. If you can purchase some sneakers now, and you can purchase the sneakers a little bit larger, maybe a half size or one size larger, for your child or children, it is a good idea to bulk up now while you can. Purchase what you can now for back to school. These are more college or maybe high school schoolers in this picture, but they have backpacks. Some of them have their notebooks and folders in their hand. One is carrying a purse or a bag. She may have her laptop in there. It's hard to say. They're wearing certain types of clothes. Seems to be just regular generic clothes. You can still find things at the thrift stores. You can still find things, like I said, look in your closets before you run out and start buying, even in your children's closets. pull those things out when you have time, especially now while the kids are still in school and moms and dads and you're at home and are off that day. Then take an hour or two and go through those articles of clothing. Look in their dresser drawers or wherever they keep their undergarments or underwear. Make sure, buy an extra pack of socks. Put that pack of socks away for next school's semester or next school year, or which would be this year in the fall. That adds up. Buy an extra pack of underwear for your children or what have you. It may be in a 4-pack now, there or a 6-pack. Sometime later, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, you buy a pack of maybe t-shirts or buy another pack of socks or whatever you can within your budget. Start purchasing these items now so you will have the bulk of this shopping done already and you will have saved some money in the long run that you can apply to something else as these prices continue to rise, folks. You have been listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. I really appreciate you all for tuning in. For those that will happen to stumble up on my channel, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully, please hit that like button. Please comment. Subscribe to my channel if you see that there's any value in it for you. Share my channel. Share this podcast with family members, friends, co-workers, and the like, even a neighbor if you'd like. This can help someone out there. Please help spread the word. If you learned anything or if you came up with any ideas or I have given you any ideas that you can use, please comment below. Or please tell someone about my channel. Saving Money Unapologetically is the name of my channel. I am your host, PG. I don't have, in closing, too much more to say. Just know that lower income families, folks, whether you are green, purple, blue, black, white, pink, yellow, it does not matter, brown, will be affected the most by the increase in prices for everyday working Americans. Unless you're uber rich, you will be affected most definitely. I did some research and I was getting ready to talk about that, but I jumped to another subject because I flipped my notepad over and I was reading something else that I wanted to discuss with you guys and gals, boys and girls tonight. But I did my research and I was looking up certain things and trying to see what the actual tariffs would be once they're imposed at the cost of certain items now versus when the tariffs took effect. Average soccer ball, or a lot of soccer balls are made in Pakistan. A low cost soccer ball, such as like Academy Sports or maybe Hibbett Sports or Sports Authority or whomever, wherever you could possibly get it, is averaged between $18 and $20, and with the tariffs imposed on that item, it would be about $25 to $27. A pair of children's sneakers, and I'm talking, children's sneakers, like youth sneakers that was made maybe in Vietnam, on average cost about $55. That price would jump anywhere from the $55 to as much as $76 to $80, depending on the brand. A toddler's clothing set, such as, a little 2-piece that you find, or it might be a little 3-piece. For little girls, it may be a top, a pair of shorts, and maybe a pair of leggings. That average price from Cambodia. Cambodia is a popular place that toddlers' clothes are manufactured. The average price right now, it's anywhere from $17 to $25, and that could go as high as $40. Secondhand stores. Let me talk about this for just a second in my closing out, because I'm trying to do no more than 40 to 45 minutes, folks. Um, Secondhand stores, such as the boutiques we talked about, thrift stores, um, vintage stores. These stores will definitely feel some strain. And what I mean by strain is, with the increased demand that's going to be expected from families looking to save money, more people will definitely be heading to these type stores moving forward in the future. So some of those stores that we say that's a diamond in the rough, or we found a gold mine, or that's a gem, you know, um, will become saturated with more people. And the more people that know about certain stores, or the more people that will start to seek out secondhand stores and boutiques and what have you, and pop-up shops, the more um, the inventory will decrease, because they're going to be purchasing the inventory that these stores have. Now, if they're smaller stores, then keep in mind, a lot of times it's going to depend on where they're sourcing their goods from to actually stock their shelves. It may be from the general public, who may bring their garments, and they, go through them, and they'll say, well, we'll take this one, we'll take that one, we won't take these two things. You take this skirt back, we don't want that, we can't sell that, that brand doesn't sell for us, or what have you. So be mindful that these stores will be strained with their inventory, especially if they are not a um, huge retailer that sells secondhand goods. Goodwill is based on donations, but Goodwill has a lot of resources that they pull from, that constantly give them items to sell. So I'm not talking about your Goodwills. I'm talking about your mostly individually owned and operated secondhand and vintage secondhand stores. Even Plato's Closet will start to get an influx in the amount of people that are frequenting their stores, because of the prices that they have. Look for certain stores, even these type of stores, to increase their prices slightly, because of the amount of volume that they're going to get. And of course, at the end of the day, folks, I just want you to make certain that going forward, that it's all about these people's bottom line. Because if they can't make a profit, then they can't stay in business. If they can't make a profit, they cannot stay in business. So what does that say? If they increase their prices, the price is going to increase for you, the consumer, whether it be a secondhand retailer, secondhand boutique, vintage store, thrift store, or a bona fide regular retailer that sells all new merchandise and new goods. Their bottom line is, they have to make a profit, or they cannot stay in business. It's simple. If they're not making a profit, they will close those doors, and you'll have one less location to visit. You will have perhaps one less retailer to visit. Will be taken out of the market, taken out of the economy that we can give our monies to. So be mindful of that. Stock up now on the essentials that you need. And definitely you want to turn to the community resources that I talked about earlier, such as your food pantries, such as if you need a voucher for articles of clothing for you and or your family and or your newborn, such as if you need books, or if you need other things, turn to your churches, turn to your community organizations, Turn to your goodwills, your Salvation Armies. Call 411. Some of the resources are slowly drying up. Yes, they are. Government funding is being pulled from a lot of things and a lot of entities. A lot of programs are folding. But just know that as doors close, other doors will open. But you have to do the work. You have to put out, hey, I'm looking for such and such. When you go to work and you're looking for something, someone on your job may have an extra stroller, may have a brand new stroller still sitting in the box that they never took out, because when they had their twins 2 or 3 years ago, they had 2 or 3 strollers that were given to them at the baby shower or whatever. You'll be surprised. But if you don't put the word out, or if you don't say what it is that you need or what it is that you're looking for, you may not get the help that you could get. I'm just saying, it's been great, folks. Please keep in mind that prices are going up on the things that we need, from food to articles of clothing to electronics, car parts, vehicles, perhaps fuel in the future. I don't know. But take it for what it's worth. Stock up what you can while you can without blowing your budgets. Save what you can, when you can, and where you can. Look for readily available resources that can help you, that can aid you. We're all in this together, folks. We live in the United States of America. We're all in this together. As one set of people suffer and feel the impacts, others will feel the impacts as well. This is not a Democrat thing. This is not a Republican thing. These are tariffs and taxes that we, the consumer, if we are contributing to the economy, it will affect us. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's not a Hispanic thing. It's not a Cambodian thing. It's not an Indian or Arab thing. It's not a Hispanic or Latino thing. It's not a gay or lesbian, LBGQTIA. It's a thing that will affect everyone unless you are uber rich. And I mean making $1 million, $500,000 a year, $250,000 to $400,000 a year people. That's not necessarily uber rich, but you can afford to purchase things depending on how your budget looks or what you're putting out versus what's coming in to your household or to wherever, whatever it is you're doing. But for the average person in America today that's making under $75,000 to under $100,000, you will feel it the most. And for those making way less than that, you will feel the brunt of it even worse. So do what we can while we can. Band together in communities. Make sure that you're talking to your neighbors and what have you. If you already are, if you have 1 or 2 neighbors on the street that you fool with, mess with, however y'all say it, gel with, get jiggy with, whatever y'all do, then hey, somebody plant tomatoes. The other neighbor down the street is planting the lettuce. This one across the street is growing peppers, bell peppers and hot peppers. Share it. It's better than nothing, and it's one less thing that each of you would have to buy going forward or moving forward. You'll be surprised what you can grow with a little bit of effort, and it takes not much time at all, and nor does it take a whole lot of energy. And if you band together with a couple more people or even family members, even if you had to drive a couple of miles to your mom and dad's house, to your cousin's house, to your aunt and uncle's house, you'll be surprised. This person is growing this person is growing something else, this person is growing something else, and the next thing you know, you got lettuce, you got tomatoes, you got carrots, you got bell peppers, cucumbers, Those are items that you no longer have to purchase at the store. Now, are you going to get just an abundance of it and just a whole ton of it? No. But at least it could tide you for the summer. You had tomatoes all summer, you know, 3 or 4 tomatoes for a family of 2. Hey, that's a week of tomatoes. Chop them up, dice them up, cut them up, slice them up, whatever you need to do. A couple of bell peppers. Those are fresh things that you would no longer have to buy at the nearest grocery store. All right, folks, it's been good. I really appreciate it. I don't want to go over more than the 45 minutes, and we're almost at 46 minutes. Thank you for tuning in. You have been listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Remember, time to stock up now. Don't wait. Buy what you can now and continue to purchase as you go along. Prices will increase, but if you're smart about it and you start to purchase items that you know you're going to need in the very near future now, before the prices start to really rise on you, you will be able to weather the storm. What it's going to look like this time next year, I have no clue. If I had a crystal ball, I would be delighted, but I don't. Each one, save one. Each one, help one. This world will be a better place. Take care of yourself and take care of one another. Bye now.